Trade setup, one, it's just very obvious that light positioning is advisable ahead of not just April 2nd, but maybe the next 2 or 3 days, because we'll get some data on April 3rd morning for our markets, and on April 4th morning, the auto tariffs and the resultant impact, because almost everybody seems to believe that auto components, essentially in agriculture, where we might have some leeway though, without India will let happen, but auto components might be an issue. So light positions advisable for the next 2-3 days. Now, I think the summation, and I spoke to a lot of people over the weekend, the summation is that the full escalation of tariffs, if the US were to say that we are bringing tariffs almost at par with what India has, then that's a big negative for India. But any deal indication could actually spur positive sentiment. Right now, the base case is that there will be some this thing, etc. But if indeed they say, if indeed Donald Trump were to say that India and US might be signing a deal, and therefore let's wait for some time, we'll, whatever, in his inimitable way, then that could actually be positive for India as well. So one hopes that that were to happen.
But he's kind of said that. He said that, if there's going to be a good deal with India, he's said, what Modi is a wise man or something to that effect. So he's already saying that it's going to work out well.
Yeah, hopefully it happens on April 2 or before April 2. Before April 2 seems difficult, right? So many countries to sign a deal with. How can you do the bottom-up thing with India? But in case it happens that, okay, we are not slapping the tariffs or what have you, or we're not raising the tariffs higher because there is a deal in the offing, one would reckon, the sell side seems to believe that that might actually be a positive. So one hopes that from a market's perspective, that's what happens. And I think just for today, the auto names probably seem to be the best ones to focus on. We'll start getting in the data soon, but tractors, based on estimates, tractors and Royal Enfield, and I'll give data for Bajaj Auto. The Vahan data for Bajaj Auto has been spectacular for the Gudi Padwa weekend and the Eid weekend. So maybe Bajaj Auto. So I think those are the pockets that you watch out for, but maybe for a day's trade, you don't want to extend it because one doesn't know what will come out of tariffs for sure.
Yeah. And so much that has happened over the weekend. For one, NDTV Profit's story, and we reported on the 20th of this month that Vodafone Idea has written to the government and asked for that lifeline. Yeah. That lifeline has been granted. So that's going to be the other big one to watch out. So we'll get to our watch list and stocks on what you have to look at. The big deal last evening, AB Realty and ITC on the pulp and paper business. So much going on. But before all of that, let me go across quickly to Puneet on what the F&O setup is.
Well, thanks for that. So definitely a very interesting week that we're starting off. We've seen, of course, the open interest come down over the last week, but it's expected to be a slightly, difficult period for traders to go on. We've seen the implied open also down almost 164 points, but there are certain levels to watch out for, both on the Nifty as well as on the Bank Nifty. Specifically on the Nifty, 23,600 is again one of the key levels to watch out for. While we have seen, the premium of about 118 points over the last weekend, it will be something on the upside, which will act as a key resistance. In terms of the Nifty Bank, though, 52,300 and 52,600 are the next levels that you need to watch out for in trade today. Now, when you look at some of the key open interest distribution levels specifically, we've seen the maximum call open interest actually at 25,400. While consolidation has been seen around the 24,000 mark, and that's been something that's been consistent over the last 3 to 4 weeks. While on the put side, we have seen 23,500 also inching up in terms of open interest and for a lot of traders, while 22,500 remains one of the key which has seen increased interest as well. So overall, we have seen a session which was slightly muted over the last couple of days on Thursday as well as Friday. But going forward in trade today, like you guys have mentioned, a lot of uncertainties in the news flow. So it'll be important to see where we end on both these benchmarks.